Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started. A Spokane man's been arrested for murdering a woman in California more than 40 years ago. KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk is looking into the cold case and what finally led detectives to the man. Kyle?
Well, it's a question that stumped authorities in California for more than 4 decades. They recovered DNA from this 1979 murder, but didn't know who it belonged to. Court documents show that answer was sitting in an evidence locker right here in Spokane. One can only imagine what 63-year-old Harold Carpenter was thinking when Spokane police and investigators from California showed up to his Spokane apartment, arresting him for a murder that happened more than 40 years ago. In 1979, a woman was beaten, strangled, and left for dead at a South Lake Tahoe campground. Evidence was gathered, including a sexual assault kit, which provided a DNA sample. But no arrests were made, and the victim was buried in a nondescript grave marked unknown female until she was finally identified by family in 2015 as Patricia Carnahan. More than 4 decades went by, and police still didn't know whose DNA they had from the crime scene. Court documents show that answer was sitting in an evidence locker in Spokane. Pay attention to this next part. In 1994, 15 years after Carnahan was killed, Harold Carpenter was arrested and accused of raping a woman in Spokane. He claimed it was consensual. The case was suspended, but the rape kit collected from the victim was placed in evidence, where it sat until state laws changed, requiring police departments to submit old sexual assault kits that hadn't been tested. The process takes time, and SPD had around 1,500 kits dating back to 1981. Last month, police learned the DNA from the 1994 rape kit belonged to the same person whose DNA was recovered at Patricia Carnahan's murder. Harold Carpenter is now in the Spokane County Jail on a fugitive charge, pending extradition to California on a murder warrant. Authorities say this could be one of the oldest cold cases in the country to be solved using DNA from a sexual assault kit. And Carpenter declined our request for a jailhouse interview tonight. Court docs show he was arrested for a DUI about 140 miles away from the murder scene the day after Patricia Carnahan died. In the studio, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
All right, Kyle, thank you very much. Now to an update on a 2-time convicted killer in Spokane. Nathan Beal will spend the rest of his life in prison. In his most recent trial, Beal was convicted of killing a homeless man for practice in 2020, just months before killing his ex-wife. His first conviction for that murder of his ex-wife, and that's where he was sentenced to 31 years. Well, today he was sentenced to 30 years for murdering Andrew Bull, with an additional 5 years for committing a crime with a firearm.
A homeless person is not a piece of garbage you can dispose of with impunity. Andrew Bull is a person.
His sentencing today brings his total time behind bars to 66 years. Well, one day of sunshine here in Spokane today, but don't get used to it because snow is back in the forecast. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo for more on what we can expect. Jeremy?
Mark, I was just diving into it, and it's not looking great. A lot of people are kind of over this wintry weather that we've been seeing for all of winter. And now that we're starting meteorological spring, they want out. Unfortunately, we've got more wintry weather and winter weather advisories. 1 to 3 inches in valleys up in the mountains. You're looking at the better part of a half a foot to upwards of a foot out of this next round. Already seeing a little bit of that activity just kind of dissipating as it makes its way into central Washington. A little bit of rain fell and transitioned into snow over in Moses Lake. We'll continue to watch that band fall apart. I think we don't see ours here in eastern Washington until early tomorrow morning. Comes with a bit of wind. Starts out as snow, likely transitions into a bit of rain as temperatures really climb throughout the day, and the reason is that strong southwesterly wind. So how much snow do we get? I think it's less than an inch here in Spokane. 1 to 3 in Coeur d'Alene, 8 to 12 over Lookout Pass, 2 to 4 in Sandpoint and St. Mary's, 1 to 2 across the Palouse. But with those temperatures up in the 40s tomorrow afternoon, it's likely rain on top of the snow and a lot of melting in low elevations.
All right, sounds good, Jeremy. We'll check back in with you later in the broadcast. Well, tonight was senior night in the kennel as 4 Zags were honored prior to tonight's game against Chicago State. KREM 2's Andrew Quinn joining us live in the studio now with more on Drew Timmy's last game in the kennel. Andrew?
Yeah, that's right, Mark. Hey, senior night festivities tonight for Malachi Smith, Anton Watson, Rajier Bolton, and, of course, Drew Timmy. Bolton and Timmy are definitely leaving Gonzaga following this season, and Timmy has had a tremendous career at GU that has included a national championship appearance. He also figures to leave the school as its leading scorer. Nice to see Drew get a big send-off in the kennel tonight. But hey, the 10th ranked Zags, they had a game to play against Chicago State. Final pregame introduction in the kennel for the WCC Player of the Year. And Timmy began this game by playing facilitator, finding Watson for the layup right there. Then some good ball movement a little later on is going to find Bolton for a three. He had 13 points in the first half. A little later, though, we see the play of the game right here. A Hunter Salas steal. He takes it coast to coast in that nasty tomahawk jam. He even lost his shoe here at the end of the play. Great play there. Zags led by 14 at the half. Second half now, here it is. Drew Timmy's final points in the kennel on a breakaway, a dunk, and a tickle of the stash right there. Very fitting for Drew. 7 Zags finished in double figures and a 104-65 victory tonight. With more on tonight's game, let's send it out to KREM 2 Sports Director Travis Green in the kennel.
Gonzaga did exactly what we expected tonight, gave Chicago State an old-fashioned whooping, but tonight was about much more than the game. It was all about the seniors, Drew Timme, Anton Watson, Rasheer Bolton, and Malachi Smith.
It hasn't really hit me yet. We have so much left to do that it's kind of just like, it was like another game to me, but I think maybe later when the adrenaline wears off and it's like, damn, that was really my last game.
It's gone by so fast, and it's like, you don't really think about it too much, but I know when we're older, we're gonna sit back and just think about that a lot and just talk about how crazy like these 4 years have been. I think those are memories that we're gonna remember forever.
I ain't gonna lie, I did not think I was gonna like it up here when I first came up here. Pretty biased to Texas, and as much as I hate to say this place has been a great second home to me, and it's a place that I could definitely see myself, in the future, just hanging around and stuff, because I've just loved everything about it up here so much.
In the post-game press conference, Anton Watson and Malachi Smith both confirmed they're unsure about their future or still mulling over things. They can return to Gonzaga next year if they decide to. Also of note from this game, Drew Timme is now 22 points away from surpassing Frank Burgess as Gonzaga's all-time leading scorer, to which he said,
The only thoughts I got on that is, man, that dude's a walking bucket. I've been here a while and had a bunch of big games, and I still feel like I'm so far away from him.
Reporting from the kennel, Travis Green, KREM 2 Sports.
Well, Travis, thank you very much. And next up for the Zags, that would be a trip to Las Vegas for the WCC tournament. Gonzaga will play its first game in the semifinals on Monday night. Tip-off for that game is set for 8:30 p.m. Mark?
All right, Andrew, thank you very much. Well, new tonight, WashDOT invited the public to give feedback on a new proposed pedestrian route across I-90 in Spokane. This after WashDOT removed the Magnolia Street pedestrian bridge last week due to structural damage. They are hoping to find a way to replace the bridge that's the most convenient to the community that needs access to the area.
To be honest with you, there really is no good solution. I mean, it's unfortunate. Nobody wanted the bridge to be structurally deficient or subsequently be removed. These things happen, things wear out, even bridges wear out. So we're trying to make the best situation out of what we have out there as far as opportunities.
Input will be accepted until March 15th, and that's just 2 weeks away. Well, now to our night beat with a quick look at the day's top stories. The pandemic-era boost to SNAP benefits has officially ended in dozens of states, including right here in Washington. For nearly 3 years, the emergency allotment provided those households with at least an extra $95 per month for food, while inflation increased food prices overall by about 10% from just a year ago. Starting Wednesday, families who qualify for government assistance will return to receiving pre-pandemic amounts. And new numbers from WashDOT show the homeless encampment off I-90 known as Camp Hope continues to shrink. They report that fewer than 100 people are now staying at the camp. From their count, they report 78 people are at the camp, down 30 from the start of February. WashDOT also reporting there are now 69 people staying at the new Catalyst Transitional Housing. This is a significant drop in people at the camp from the more than 600 people who were there just last summer. Hazing one step closer now to becoming a felony in the state of Washington. Right now it's a misdemeanor, but the Sam Martinez Stop Hazing law would make it a felony in cases when there's substantial bodily harm. Washington State University freshman Sam Martinez died from alcohol poisoning back in 2019. Police said it was caused by hazing at his fraternity. The bill passed the State House today and now heads to the Senate for consideration. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just text us the word NIGHT to 509-448-2000 and we'll send them directly to your phone.